Hi, Cancer. Welcome to your tarot reading. If you're new, welcome in. If you're returning, welcome back. Either way, thank you so very much for being here. Thank you for sharing your energy with me. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to pull a traditional Celtic cross spread. Whatever message comes out is what the collective needs to hear at this time. I've set that intention with this deck and with my guides. So if you are here because this is in your feed, then this message is for you. And if you are here because of the title, then this is definitely for you. So let's get into the tarot and see what Spirit has for us. Be sure and like the video. Leave a comment if you feel called to do so. And definitely subscribe to the channel. All of that interaction really helps me to grow the channel so that I can, bring more of these messages. But it also pushes it out so that others can get the messages as well. And then they're able to, get the guidance that they need. So I really appreciate you guys doing that for me. On the bottom of the deck, we had this Eight of Cups. So the Eight of Cups is about walking away from things and leaving things behind that are no longer emotionally fulfilling. So this can be walking away from people, places, things, right? It can be anything, and it can be different for each of you because this is a general reading, right? But this is kind of moving on from all of these things that just do not fulfill you. At one time they did, and now they don't, right? And now you're kind of just walking into the unknown here, maybe not knowing where you're going, right? Maybe you don't know what you're walking into, or, you may have some sense of where you want to go. But also in this card, there is an eclipse in the sky in this card. So this could be happening through August because we are coming up onto eclipse season. So you could be walking away from, a mindset, behaviors. You could be walking away from people, right? It's going to be different for each of you. Like I said, you could be leaving a job. But this is also, just something that is emotional because your cups are about your emotions. So the present situation is the Six of Swords. So again, moving on. Six of Swords is about really accepting some sort of lesson and then moving forward and embarking on a healing journey, right? So you've probably come to terms with something that has ended, and now you're just transitioning into like maybe a more calm, peaceful time. With the Six of Swords, it really is about moving on to calmer waters, and it's kind of a reprieve from that conflict, that inner turmoil that you could have been facing, right? Either mentally, emotionally, even both. So this can be figuratively or literally, right? Like you could literally be moving. You could be leaving a house, and maybe that's the emotional aspect. You could be moving out of like a family home or out of a home with, a loved one, family members, whatever it is. But if you're not actually moving, then this is just you kind of mentally moving on from a situation in order to heal from it. Because swords are about, it's air energy, so it's about your thoughts. So I feel like this has affected you emotionally and mentally. The blockage here is the Temperance card. So the Temperance is balance. This is calm. This is harmony, right? Like divine timing. And I feel like, temperance is about integrating those lessons. Again, with the Six of Swords, it is about accepting a lesson and then moving forward in order to heal, right? So with temperance in the blocked position, I feel like maybe you're trying to hold on to something, or you're trying to force something instead of relaxing and let it unfold in divine timing, right? Like moderation is needed in order to reestablish alignment with your path. You could find, trying to find balance and avoid extreme like behaviors, right? Like shopping or overindulgence in, negative activities. I feel like this is just maybe trying to force the healing or trying to force the moving on. And again, it's just that needing to balance things emotionally, mentally. Because if this is affecting you mentally and emotionally, I just feel like there's balance needed. Maybe ground yourself And again, integrate the lesson. See the lesson in the situation. The root cause of this is the Page of Wands. So the Page of Wands is about enthusiasm. This is being open to adventurous opportunities, right? And seeing the world through a lens of curiosity. And the reverse of this is being like hasty or impulsive in your actions and not having a proper plan. So again, with this temperance, trying to force things and not having a proper plan, I feel like this is, again, a need to slow things down, make a plan, definitely be enthusiastic about where you're going, and express yourself in fresh and dynamic ways, right? Like just be open to new opportunities. The pages are new energy. It's a new opportunity. So maybe you are trying to force things and this new opportunity needs to happen in divine timing, right? Right now you're just kind of transitioning before you can jump into anything new, or just trying to push on that energy. In the recent past, what is affecting this current situation, we have the Six of Pentacles. So the Six of Pentacles is about balance. This is that reciprocity, equal give and take, right? And it's also about being open to receive. So when you're not open to receive, these new opportunities can't come in. This healing can't come in, and you can't integrate the lessons. So I feel like this is, again, a need to balance and maybe not putting all of your energy into one thing, right? It's pouring your energy into yourself as well as activities, right? So maybe this is you like really trying to force a new job, right? Or really trying to force some type of healing that needs to take place before you move on to one thing. You have to heal something else, right? I feel like that's very much the energy, and there is balance needed here. Maybe you weren't used to receiving in the past, and now it's you kind of opening more to receiving a new opportunity because you're moving on from something else. I feel like it's just divine timing at play here. So the message from your higher self or your spirit guides is the Four of Pentacles. So the Four of Pentacles is it's about building stability, right? And your sense of security. It's also about holding on to things, right? This person has this pentacle and he's like really holding on to it here. So I feel like this is, again, spirit telling you, try not to hold on to things too tightly. Outcomes, thought processes, right? Like opening to ideas, opening to new ways of being. If you're moving on from a job, then opening up to maybe a new type of work, maybe opening up to, intuitive messages, whatever it is. This is just like needing to try not to control the situation and try not to hold on to things so tightly. Because, that's gonna, if you're trying to hold on to something so tight that you're not opening up to growth, you're not opening up to healing because you're so focused on controlling where you're at, right? Trying to maintain stability and having this illusion of control, but you don't really have control, right? We never really do. You can control your thoughts, you can control how you're reacting to the situations, right? So definitely you want to look at those and you want to maintain that control, but trying to control the outcome or, how things are going, how you're healing, it's sometimes out of your control, right? It's going to take time and it's going to take integration. That's just part of the process. It can be, very frustrating to go through that. So in the immediate future, we have the Two of Pentacles, and the Two of Pentacles is about balance. This is about stability. So we have Six of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles. So I feel like maybe you were out of balance and maybe feeling out of control or unstable in some way, maybe mentally, maybe, in your thoughts or emotionally, you just felt a little unstable, or you felt like kind of out of control, right? If something happened and you're having to move on, that can have you feeling very out of control. But, in the immediate future here with this Two of Pentacles, I feel like this is you regaining balance and then prioritizing what is most important, right? Focusing on, again, what you can control. Reach out for help if you feel overwhelmed, right? Like, friends, family, whoever you can rely on, and only take on what you can handle. This is about balancing and prioritizing. So I feel like maybe you are going to prioritize your healing, prioritize yourself. Because if you've been overgiving with this Six of Pentacles energy, this is you like getting things back into balance and then prioritizing your maybe your spiritual practice or whatever it is that you're trying to deepen here. Prioritizing your self healing and your growth. Yeah, see, in your thoughts and feelings, we have the Tower, which is like chaotic energy. This is upheaval, sudden, fast changes. So you could be feeling very chaotic in your thoughts and your feelings. You could be feeling, things are changing too quickly for you. And then, the reverse of this is holding on to things, ways of being, holding on to thought patterns and not releasing things that need to be let go of. Again, with that Four of Pentacles, that holding on to things. And again, this doesn't even have to be people or work. It can just be a mindset. Because I feel like you're trying to attempt to avoid what's happening, like clinging to an old way of thinking or being instead of embracing the changes that are occurring, right? And completely understand it can be very uncomfortable, but you just have to trust that you're being led to where you need to go, right? Because again, seeing the lesson for what it was and then moving forward and trying not to control the outcome, trying not to control holding on to an old way of being here. I'm trying to think of a good example, right? Like maybe you are moving on from a job and you're kind of holding on to, um, the way things went down, or, if you're moving into more of a entrepreneurial type of energy, you're holding on to that 9 to 5 mentality, right? Or you're holding on to a way of building stability and emotional control, right? So I feel like that's kind of changing for you. And again, that can be very uncomfortable. So, in your energy or in your environment, what is influencing you right now is the Two of Wands, which really fits into the rest of this. So, the Two of Wands is about, again, a choice, because twos are about choice and balance. So, this is about really looking to the future and making a decision. So, this person is standing here and they have these two wands and he's kind of just looking out at the horizon, right? And then he has this globe in his hand. So, it's looking out into the future and realizing that you have the whole world at your fingertips, but you need to take that first step. You need to leave a comfort zone and step out into the world, right? So again, with this mindset, I feel like you've been trying to hold on to it because it has made you feel comfortable, right? It's your little comfort blanket. And if this is a relationship that you're holding on to, or a way of being in relationships, right? Like you have to um, move on from that. Once that relationship ends, accept the lesson and then move forward and stop holding on to the emotional baggage, or stop holding on to, the way that you were in that relationship, because you've grown and you're a different person, right? This is just needing to really look into the future and, again, take that next step to leave a comfort zone. And that can be in a thought process, that can be physically moving out of your comfort zone, right? If you've been feeling stuck like in a home, or state, even if you wanted to move out of state. But this is really just making a plan and taking that next step, right? Like you don't have to have the whole entire next 10 years planned out, right? This is just taking that first step. And then I also see, again, this moon inside of the full moon, like another eclipse, which isn't usually in the Rider Waite tarot, but it is in this deck. So I feel like there's a big change coming up with eclipse season here in August. Maybe, this is when everything kind of cultivates for you and you really start to move forward. So in your hopes and fears, we have the Justice card. So the Justice card is about, again, balancing. This is karma and um, receiving your karmic good luck, right? Karmic justice here. And this, they have the scales here, which again is about balance. And then you have the Six of Pentacles here, and you have the Two of Pentacles. So I feel like maybe you're hoping to regain your balance and really kind of see things for what they are, accepting the truth, right? Again, of this situation. This could be a legal situation that you're going through. So you could be hoping for things to kind of resolve in a legal situation. But I feel like you're just really hoping that things will balance out and your good karma is going to come in here, right? So the potential outcome in this is the Strength card, which I absolutely love. So the Strength card is about overcoming obstacles, right? And then really finding the endurance and that inner confidence, that inner strength, right? So this isn't about like just physical strength. This is that mental and emotional overcoming, right? Because you've been moving on from lessons and trying to accept them for what they are. And it's really had you in your emotions because you're moving away from something that was attached to your emotions, right? So with the Strength card, that is really tapping into that inner strength and then overcoming those obstacles. So, and connecting with the divine and knowing that you have what it takes to overcome any challenges because she's working with this lion and she's being very compassionate. So also like having compassion for yourself and again not forcing things. This is like being gentle with yourself, having compassion for yourself, and really finding that inner strength to overcome things, right? So, work on your mentality, work on how you control your emotions, right? When you get emotional, how do you control that, right? Do you maybe take a deep breath, count to 10? Do you do a meditation? Do you journal, right? Like all of these things are healthy ways of coping with that mental and emotional distress that you've been going through. But you're definitely overcoming that. I mean, with the Strength card, this is overcoming obstacles and really internally and externally, just blasting through obstacles here. So, if you're actually physically moving, like you're going to be able to really tap into that inner strength and figure things out here, right? I feel like this is more of a mindset than anything and really trying to see things maybe differently or trying to embrace just a new way of being and not trying to control situations. Because with the Temperance sideways here, again, trying to force things, maybe even try to force your healing, right? And not actually taking the time to heal. Because a lot of times we don't want to face those feelings, right? It's very hard. You're feeling chaotic. You feel like everything's changing and that has you really stressed out, right? So sometimes you just have to sit with that, which really sucks, but sometimes you just have to do it. But I feel like things are really going to balance out here for you. We had lots of balance cards in here. I feel like it's again just a mindset and really take that next step towards moving to the future and get out of a comfort zone, right? Don't stay stuck in thought patterns that you think are making you comfortable because they're really not. It's time to step out of that. So I hope that message helped and I will see you guys next time. Bye.